Yeah.
Welcome to Girl No with Shawn and Mo.
Oh, you're so good, even though this isn't official. Our
I
names are
know.
purple. That's a new thing. Do we mind?
What's purple?
Our names.
Oh, good.
Is that all
Purple
right?
slice.
It matches our branding, I guess, because we have branding on. Um, I think with what's going on in the world and the Epstein files is really messing with me. But I also think that it's important not to go to like purity culture, because also what is happening is they're trying to blame this on the women. Like, if you think about it,
Always.
this is not about the women, and this is about power structure and men in higher levels of power over women who are not in those levels of power, be it due to age, whatever. So when you make a spicy comment, because you and I come from, like, I'm kind of like, I play the beauty queen and you play the have played
Sex
porn
symbol.
stars in movies.
Yeah.
I just listened to one of my favorite podcasts, and I'll just say it, Glennon Doyle and Abby Wambach purposely kissed on a stage because they were talking about part of what's going on is they're trying to take away sexual freedom almost of women. So I just want to find that balance.
Yeah.
Say what you were going to say, though. But there's something there.
I think that you have that Midwest must be nice, plus all of the shop at home.
Right.
Everything had to be pure as the driven snow, appearance-wise.
Yes.
And I think that inside of you, you were battling with that. And I think that's part of why you got sick.
Yeah, the whole thing. And just this transition into not being owned by a network or not being owned by a product, because, you know, and I was actually interviewing for a job that I chose not to take. This might be thank you, Dr. Monique Parent. That job would have required me to, with all of this research, 7 years in this bout of it, but seriously, I started this research in 2000. So 27 years of research. I would have been required every time I went out to speak about my research to get an approval from this company. And I'm like, I can't.
You can't live your life like that.
No.
No.
And they said, well, you know, somebody probably have to see you speak from time to time and make sure you're representing our company well. And I'm like, dude, you don't pay me enough anyway, yeah, I think it was part of that. I felt like I was losing my autonomy. I couldn't find, I guess, the image that I'm comfortable with.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to get to that, like, after everybody else, this is what I'm comfortable with. And there is some space between the good girl and some of the abuses of power. And again, I have been, I've written so many, I'm listening to Nobody's Girl.
Oh, yes.
And on Audible. And I've taken notes because she says some things about so many women have been sexualized since such a young age.
Yes.
So many people have been abused. And also this abuse has been cloaked in pretend love. And so now there's this reckoning, I think, that so many of us are making with, oh my God, that was abuse. Like, so many levels of abuse. The workplace,
Yes.
the church, the home, control, all wrapped up in sexuality. And
Yes.
nobody ever wanted to say that out loud. And it even used to be that, oh, you're a pretty girl. And just like, you know, I was so struggling with, I was on an email chain from a person way above me in power who said, oh, Shawn Diddy, she's so great. Too bad I'm happily married. That was sexualizing me.
Yes. Without your permission. You were sexualized just for existing.
And it was also a way of putting me in my place because, oh, yes, she's finishing a PhD. Oh, she did a great job. Let's make sure we just remind her who she is.
Yep. They want to see you rise. They don't want to see you reign.
Oh, say that again?
Sorry, it was Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh.
They want to see you rise. They don't want to see you reign.
Interesting.
There's a Taylor Swift for everything.
I love that you know the Taylor Swifts.
Like, and I'm not even like a tier level Swiftie.
So, okay, now I think this can maybe fit into this episode or just fit into a side episode, but do you want to start our, because maybe we'll
Absolutely.
come back around to this as we talk about Bridgerton, but if we don't get to talk about it, but yeah, you're right. The whole thing, like all of this has just been making me, yeah.
And
like
I think this is a valid topic because I think a lot of people, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
Welcome to Girl No with Shawn and Mo.
We're here.
We're here. We're talking about girly things.
We are
Women things. Because we're not girls. That's why it's Girl No. Because
Yes.
we're women. But it's also a reminder to, girl, no, don't do that. Don't make that mistake.
And what an interesting time in the world for us to be talking about girls and women and infantilization of women, but also sexualization of women. And then also shows that actually show strong women, which was kind of what we were going to talk about today, part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just an interesting time. So, okay, what are your thoughts? And I just did a crazy little lead and we're going to talk about Bridgerton, y'all.
We are going to talk about Bridgerton, but right now we're going to touch on some more topical things that I think a lot of women are having problems with. I don't know if men are so much, but even though men were abused as much as women, we're talking about the Epstein files, and we're not going to go long into the Epstein files. It's a rabbit hole that just could go deep, and we're not going there. We're just going to talk a little bit about how it's affecting us right now. It's interesting to notice that all of our beauty tropes that we have been spoon-fed for most of our lives are based in pedophilia. We should be so thin that we are weak. We should be small. We should be childlike. We should speak in small, quiet voices. We can't have wrinkles. Our skin must be smooth. You know, everything. We're all striving for that blonde of childhood. You know, I was a blonde as a child and it was never blonde after age 12, but you know, that's what we want.
I'm zipping through my phone while someone had posted something on social media. I mean, there have been so many good posts, but it was such an interesting thing. And I can't find it and I don't want to misquote her and not do her justice, but she had said something about so many women are just coming to this place where we're now saying out loud that we have been sexualized since we were children. And and the numbers, again, we've talked about this before, have been full out traumatized, and we all get to choose what that means to us. But I also think when we look at what is happening in the workplace, what is happening just everywhere, and like you said, with the way we're sold things, you know, predators look for vulnerability. And I'm reading the book Nobody's Girl. It's funny because I'm bopping back and forth between that one and also my gosh, no, I do have to open my phone because I will tell you it's about the Matt Lauer case.
Boy, you're reading some heavy stuff, and you know what I'm reading?
No wonder
Bridgerton.
I just heard my Audible book on tape just come up. But Brooke Nevils is who wrote Unspeakable Things, and it's Unspeakable Things: Silence, Shame, and the Stories We Choose to Believe. And then again, you heard a little voice there of Nobody's Girl, which is Virginia Roberts Jeffrey, which again, she didn't make it out okay. And
she did not.
One of my favorite podcasts, of course, is We Can Do Hard Things. And on it, Amanda did a really great breakdown in one episode of the history. And then she had an episode with the lawyer of the victims. And one of the points he made, and this is, again, no wonder, again, many of us are getting physically sick. He talked about that those victims' names were not redacted, and that would have been simple to make that not happen. And so it does look like a bit of retaliation. And it really made me think about the times in my life where I have worked for companies or dealt with people who have done the, oh, I'm sorry, that deadline was yesterday. Here's the funding for that. Oh, I'm sure we communicated that properly. And I had spoken to an attorney about one thing in particular, and he said they didn't forget. They knew.
They knew.
And that's what's starting to pop into me is our thing about infantilization of women or just mind fuckery. I don't know, but it does make me sick.
Yeah, yeah. You realize how systemic it has been through all of time. And I don't know about you, but and I'm not the most raging feminist, but I do think it's time to burn patriarchy to the ground and live in a matriarchal society. How much better would it be?
I think of the labor, just the emotional labor, but also physical labor that women put in. I think of, like, again, the hairstyles, the makeup, all the things.
Yes.
We had to pick up some clothing articles. I actually went shopping, which I don't like. But yesterday
Yeah.
I was like, men just walk in. I'm like, oh look, dress shirts, very nice shoes, pants. They know what size they
Simple.
wear, they fit.
Yeah.
We're in there trying on 30 outfits. Is it too revealing? Is it revealing enough? Does it fit me right? Do I look fat? If I have to think about, do I look fat one more freaking time? I looked at journals from when I was like 11 and 12 years old, and I was writing articles about how you can be like, it started way back then. How can you dress
Oh,
for your figure? How can you not look fat? That's like 5th grade.
yeah.
You have to be out playing,
You should be
swinging
out
on the swing
playing.
set.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's shoved down our throats from an early age. I remember my mother always dieting, and always unhappy with herself. And now she looks back at photos and she's like, why was I so unhappy with myself? Look at me, I'm gorgeous. And we all do that. Like, oh gosh, I why was I so hard? Why was I like, I remember photoshopping wrinkles out 15, 20 years ago. Why was I working so hard on getting rid of those wrinkles? They're lovely wrinkles and they're non-existent. Now they're existent. But back then they weren't. They were nothing. But
That is
I would
you.
make sure that I had skin like a baby's butt. And
Yeah.
why was that? Why did I feel like I needed to have my skin look like a baby's butt? Why is a baby's butt the goal? No, let the baby just be a baby.
Oh, this whole thing is just yucky.
It's
It's so yucky. I
it
just,
is.
I am, and I feel like, thank you for taking that moment to address the yuck, and for all of us who are just, I think we're looking back at scenarios and going, oh, that's what that was. Like,
Yes.
call it what it is.
Yeah. It's
It's abuse. It's an abuse of power, and it really does hurt people. And again, even economically, I look at all the money women spend on shit that men don't, and how we think of targets, like you have a target market, just like predators have targets. And I
targets.
think if anything, I just really want to come back to like all of these young women who were young at the time and they've grown up now, but they had a vulnerability, and that was systemic, just like you said. And predators have a keen way of sensing that. And so, if anything, I really want to help people to know what their own vulnerabilities are and know somebody could push that button so that you can go, oh, nope.
Yeah. I am very proud of young women today who seem to have awareness that older men are predatory. You know, when I was 17, my boyfriend was 36. That's not normal. That's not right. I thought at 17, I'm so adult, I can handle this. But I was 17 and he was 36. And that is too great an age difference. And I I am so proud that young women today are recognizing that and going, no, I'm dating within my age range.
Yep. And that's the other thing my daughter and I were talking about. I'm a Gen X, and the jokes that men my age make. And I'm like, now we need to just say out loud, because I don't think they think that they're harmful. And maybe these are good guys. It's just that garage talk that they grew up with. But guess what? It's not okay.
It's
And
not
we
okay.
didn't say it wasn't okay because we were scared. We would fawn. We would smile. Like, I look back at the 80s. I'm 15, 16 in a garage with a bunch of guys, and they make some comment. And by the way, there's posters of, naked women all over the walls and all the things. No posters of naked men, which is
No.
interesting. So, and they're,
Honestly, though, the
yeah.
majority of men naked. I mean,
Oh my gosh, there's a British dating show, Naked Dating, Dating Naked, and they're naked, and it's very interesting. The Brits are different.
it sounds
Um,
cold.
Good point. They must keep the studio warm. I'm not sure.
Warm, I would think.
I watched an episode. Go ahead, go watch it, y'all, if you want. But yeah, those times, like, those guys would make those jokes, and yes, I would laugh. Yes, I would smile. But you know what that is? Like, that's a survival instinct.
That's survival instinct.
You're
That's
just trying to get along to get along. You're trying to get out of there alive. And if you are listening to this thinking, oh, please, they weren't going to kill you.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And
not all men, but enough men that you don't know.
And they hurt you. Like,
yes.
You're hurt, which might be, I mean, this is a little bad, but like, disassociating and living through it, like, you still have to keep going on after, no matter what it is happens. So, yeah, there's just a lot happening right now where reality checks are coming. And I will say, as a parent, and I did talk with my daughter about this, I was not, because I had been groomed as a young person. I didn't see red flags. When you have been set up to accept abuse and not see red flags, then you raise the next generation without seeing red flags. Now, luckily, she got smarter a lot faster, and I've learned, and, we continue to repair. But, when she was a teenager, I let her go out with a couple of people that the age range was too much. And this brings me back to, what I was going to say about this age thing, and that, like, even a 17-year-old guy dating a 14-year-old girl, which I was in high school dating a senior when I was a freshman. Not okay. Too much.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And in that situation, for sure. And I, as a parent, because I didn't realize, and nobody said out loud to me, like, one, your kids are supposed to be kind of mad at you sometimes, because that's what your job is to set those boundaries to keep them safe. No one had the conversation with me that it was about me staying safe. It was always about you're pretty enough for a senior. You must be, like, smart enough for a senior, instead of, that person's too old for you, so let me keep you safe by saying you can't date them. And you know what? If they think you're that freaking wonderful, they're going to love you 4 years from now, after you both have dated other people. Turns out, you get on those dating apps. I wish younger me would have known that. There are like thousands of people you could date. Who knew?
Yeah. I dated thousands of them. I should know.
Oh, someday we should break that down when you did that. So while I was feverish and ill and couldn't go anywhere, I did sign back into one of the dating apps.
Which one?
Bumble.
The only appropriate one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't touched a dating app in 9 years, and Bumble was the last one I used, and I was very pleased with it.
Yes. So we'll see. But it was, and again, with all that's going on in the world, it really makes me read every bio. I see every word. Some guy had the word erotic in his, and I'm like, nope. You're out. Like, these are not, think about the cues that are given.
Yes. If you're putting that in your dating profile, that tells me that's what you're looking for.
And I'm 55 years old, y'all. So if you're in my age range, yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I will say that I watched all of Bridgerton, according to your assignment. And yeah, I'm looking forward to discussing because I have not read the books. And
I read the books after I saw the show because I am a reader. And I was like, well, I just want to see how they line up. And there's a lot of differences. Okay, so we're now going out of the Epstein part of the podcast and now going on to Bridgerton. See, we're all over the place.
Because I will say Bridgerton is sexy. It is
sexy.
And
but
what's interesting, and there is a part of, and we kind of, Mo and I talk about this, that I get a little like Midwestern girl, like, ooh, when we talk about that. And I want to come more around to just chill out. Like, but I will say this last, whatever this season was, when they were talking about the pinnacle, like there were moments when, again, I was like, oh, it's a lot. Oh, it's a lot. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to your takes on it because it is, you can tell it's a female driven production.
Yes, you can tell it's very much a female driven production. The books are problematic. They take place in Regency England. So Regency England is problematic. So right there, all of what was considered normal at that time, per the books, it's very problematic nowadays by our standards. I was reading something recently where they hypothesized that Bridgerton is a science fiction. And I thought that was interesting. And in a way, it is, because it's a completely Bridgerton the show.
Right.
Because it's a series of Bridgerton books, and they're not called Bridgerton. But anyway, blah 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 blah. Don't come at me. I'm not an expert.
Just such wise things to say.
I just read. Anyway, so when we watch the show, my husband and I love rom-coms. My husband especially. He loves any show where people are falling in love. He doesn't care if it's gay. He doesn't care if it's straight. It's all good. Love is love. He's just happy to watch people fall in love. So we get to watch a lot of romantic stuff, and that's lovely. Because I get tired of the shoot 'em up, bang bang.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot 'em up, bang bang is fine, but sometimes you want a little more. Anyway, so we started watching Bridgerton, and we love it. We've watched it multiple times. Whenever we're like kind of in a bad place, that's one of the shows we'll put on. It's like, oh, it's happy, it's nice, it's pretty, the costumes, and I've taken the part of me. It's like, these are not historically accurate, and I've just put that away, which I could not do when I was watching Wuthering Heights. So that's a story for another day. But we just love the costumes and the energy and the characters, and it's just pure escapism, which is what I do a lot in my reading. Unlike you, you read things that are good for you, good for your brain, good for thinking, good for looking at and analyzing, and I want pure escapism. I read all the Outlander books, all of them, and they're that thick. I read me some books, but I've been a reader my whole life. But I don't read good for me stuff. I read trash and I enjoy it.
But I watch, and it is funny because every once in a while I will send Monique a video and she's like, dude, I do video for a living. Can you just give me the book version or written notes?
Yeah, and I don't want to watch anything.
So I binge. So my fun is like Christmas movies any time of the year. So I go on little, like, I've been on a Rob Reiner movie thing, which again is most of them are sweet,
heal your heart
lovey
kind of stuff.
So I think it's just the reverse of, I read my serious things and you.
And yeah. I don't watch. Yeah, mostly I like watching. Well, I don't watch a lot of TV. We turn on the TV at dinner time and we watch it at dinner, eating at the coffee table, not the dining table, because we're like normal people in 2026. Uh, so we watch TV with dinner, and we usually will watch an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and that's it for the day. I watch TikTok when I'm at the gym on the treadmill, and that's it. That's the time, but not lately because they have no Wi-Fi. So lately, when
Oh
I'm at
my
the
goodness.
gym, I've been listening to my Calm app and reading Bridgerton books.
I have also gotten the Calm app upon your recommendation and have been using it and like some things and like to go to sleep and like some of the
Yeah,
EMDR stuff. You're right. There's some, yeah, very nice.
I really like the EMDR stuff. And my father, when I went up north visiting my family the other
Oh,
day,
yeah.
and my father, he has dementia. He's 86 now, and he's not been present there for a few years, but he's lovely and happy and helpful, and so all those things. We were sitting outside, and I put on the bilateral stimulation, and I just popped my headphones into his ears, and he just went, "Oh, oh,"
Oh,
and he just sat there, and his eyes just like, and he just smiled. He's like, "Oh,
the geek in me is so, I have got to, I'm writing a dissertation about grief, focusing on grief, which also has neurology associated to it with it. But when this part is over, I really want to, I'm so intrigued by the neuroplasticity and what we're learning about sound and bilateral stimulation, because I go down the rabbit hole of neurology with grief quite a bit, and it does make sense. You've co-regulated with someone, and then whether it's a breakup or you leave a job or whatever, that is a physiological change that you will then grieve. And I think that's the um actually, I can take us on a left turn back real quick because I just found that quote. Speaking of grieving, it's women in America are in deep grieving, not because we're surprised or overcome with disbelief with the 3.4 million pages of evidence, but because we have to reckon with the cruel proof of our entire lives being commodified. I can't believe I'm reading this whole thing, but I will. Fetishized version of girlhood. And we're
yeah,
meeting all at once the children we were and could not protect. I just took us back there for a minute. But yeah, that thing of who we can and cannot protect. So I
yeah,
like that when Bridgerton comes forth with sexy scenes, it's pretty balanced. That's what, because you're kind of saying like in that time, women would not have been treated well.
no,
And they
no,
touch on that enough, but this is like if women had power at that time, what would it be like? Did I segue us okay, or did I take us down
yeah,
a rabbit hole and not
no,
back?
that was good. That was good. We dipped our toe in the rabbit hole and came back.
Yeah. We might have to have a new graphic of just a dip and back.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
No, just we don't say just the tip because we've all been told that too many times.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Boy.
That's going back. Anyway,
Yeah.
as I try to scratch my nose and not pull all the makeup off my pimple.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny too. Even just like pimples, normal
Yeah.
things, like good Lord, the time and stress and money we have spent over things that puts our value. That was the other thing I've really been thinking about is the people who do well find intrinsic value, and women from the minute we come out, it's kind of, do you approve of me? And it's putting that value on that outside. And then also the idea that we're taught that our value lays in our our value is in our proximity to power.
Mm-hmm.
And that is interesting. So you try to get to be closer and closer to the person in power, but that's not really true.
But
The
yeah,
power would be inside of ourselves.
inside of us. Inside of us. Yeah, I had a point I was going to make and I lost it.
It might come back. It's
It
because
might,
I
it might not.
just kept talking.
No.
But okay, so I will say, let me just say, I said to Monique, well, it was kind of I don't know what I think of this season of Bridgerton because it's basically Cinderella. So is Shondaland genius or lazy? And then you reminded me, Monique, because I didn't know.
It stems from the book, the base material, the book, and in Benedict's and Sophie's story, she is the Cinderella. It's interesting because they make a big deal in the series about, is she illegitimate? Who might her mother be? And the first line of the book is, Sophie Beckett was born a bastard. She has known this her whole life. I mean, like, it's right there. So and now they're like supposing that she was a lady's maid to the queen, or was she's the queen's, who knows? They're putting all of that stuff in the series. People are guessing. I see TikTok people doing things about it. On that day that's the algorithm TikTok decides to serve me, because it can change. So that's interesting how they want to make that, but they're also trying to tie everything together in different ways. There's so many scenes that I love in the series Bridgerton. I am loving Violet Bridgerton's storyline, and I'm loving seeing her finally get her love and have her tea.
Yeah, isn't it just there are parts of it. I loved this. It wasn't an actual season. They just did a little cutaway of Queen Charlotte's story.
Well, no, they did a season for Queen Charlotte.
Was it a season? Okay.
Yeah, they did a whole season.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
And I feel like there was a little flash to that again because there were so many comments in that of, well, the plot line doesn't focus on the older women, and they would make these points, and I'm like, oh, hello, I feel seen. But
yes,
this one, when the queen didn't want her friend to go away and used her power
to keep her there,
right? And again, that plays into just the reality of what's coming up in the world, of how power in systems and how we manipulate people, or we are manipulated. And then when she finally told the truth, like, I just don't want to be here alone, don't leave me. And I think it was just so interesting to think about emotional maturity and the people that we have given all the power to, thinking they have emotional maturity, and it turns around that they are probably the least mature of everyone.
Yeah.
And they're
they do say absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
And and I've known both men and women in power who have let the power go to their head. And
there are women who are put in power as pawns because they want to make it so badly. And I've done this before, where I've gotten product information from someone that was misinformation. I did not check their source. I didn't recheck it. I shared that information because that person was powerful and above me in the chain. And I went out and got everybody all riled up over misinformation. And the thing is, yes, it is on me to double check my source, but come on, let's go where the river flows.
Yeah. If you contradict your boss, that is not going to go well.
And it turns out, most likely, that person knew that information was a little shady and just did she'll go share it. And then if it goes bad, she'll take the fall. And that's the thing. What do they call it? The glass ceiling, and then some women get the glass cliff or whatever. They often will give a woman a high power role when the project is most likely going to fail. And so they figure, well, either she'll fail and we'll blame it on her, or maybe she'll make it. And I think we're seeing a lot of that right now. And that's being brought to the surface.
Love to be able to solve the world's problems.
I know.
But they're too big. That's why we watch Bridgerton.
World problem.
Or Shrinking.
Yes,
we'll talk about Shrinking next time.
I, of course, cried in this week's episode of Shrinking. But yes, let's talk about that next time.
Yes.
So, and back to Bridgerton.
I had to lean over and turn my heater up.
Oh, good. I took us out of this season. But I think it does kind of flashback. I think it does tie them together.
Yes. I mean, all this, and what I love about the books is you get you get a feel for how much time passes in between. You don't realize it in the book, in the series. Like Penelope doesn't marry Colin until like 13 years after the first book. It's not just a couple of seasons later. There's a lot of time goes by. In the story with Benedict and Sophie, he sees her at the party and then he's looking for her. We don't know that 2 years goes by. It reads as like maybe a couple of weeks. So, it would have been nice to have at least something up on the screen saying 2 years later.
And that would have helped me too, because I will tell you, when I kept watching that, I kept going, he has drawn her lips a gazillion times. He's looked at all
How can
these
he not
people.
recognize them?
Yeah. I'm like, how? But if they would have done the ... 2 years later, I would have given him a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. Okay, 2 years, maybe you forgot
Your
the
brain
list.
can sometimes like misremember things.
Yeah, but that was messing with me. I'm like, come on. How
Yeah.
many times have you drawn her lips? And they're unique lips. How do you
They
not know
are
that?
unique lips. And she's wonderful. She's lovely.
Oh, I just love that actress.
Yes. Yes.
All of them. And the wardrobe makes me so happy. And
Yes.
the
hairdos.
Yes.
Cressida Crowper with her ridiculous hairdos. I love them so much.
And okay, which one does she play? I'm terrible.
She's blonde and shallow.
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay.
yeah, you don't see her this season.
Yes, I do remember her now. Yes. Yeah, I just, and also it does make me laugh too, like the boning and the dresses. And when we look at, again, over time, the pain that women have physically put themselves in to look a certain way.
Yes.
And I was looking at the dresses for the Grammys. I think somebody was talking about it took like 400 hours to make her gown. And she said that, it fit perfectly. And the woman said, yeah, that's because we took your measurements and we made sure the boning fit just right so it wouldn't hurt you and make you uncomfortable. And she was like, and that is why it looks so good. Like, it's this, there are all
as
these
opposed to Chappell Rowan's dress, which was hanging by prosthetic nipples.
I actually have not seen that yet. I will go look it up. How did I miss that?
It's not even an attractive dress.
I mean, love
it's fun to do things for shock value. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to wear this dress that hangs from the nipples, but then to have prosthetic nipples placed. It's like, well, are you going to be naked or not? What's? I kind of don't understand. I mean, it's just not an attractive dress. And if you wanted to be topless, you could have done it prettier.
Well, and the thing is, yeah, because, you can't be topless because that would be literally against the law, which brings us back to the craziness. But anyway,
yeah.
that would be.
And I'm so over the naked dresses, the dresses where they're just like, they've got nothing on underneath. It's like, why?
Yeah, why? I feel like that is just, do it if you love it and you feel great. But yeah, to me, it's distracting. I'm like, just I want to see your dress.
And it's like, I get it. I go to red carpet events. You go to red carpet. We met on a red carpet.
We did.
And, lots of times when I'm selecting something, this is particularly hard after menopause because you're going to take pictures. You don't know if they're going to get published or not. If I kill somebody, they'll get published. They'll use that as like, here's this picture of her, and it'll be the worst one and like the thickest. And it's just like, you always have to prove that you're still hot, because it's like, you could think, oh, I might want to wear this dress, or I might want to wear this dress. But the reality is you're going to meet people there that are going to hire you, and you have to prove that you're still sexy, that you still have it, which as you get older and older, it's harder and harder to do. And why do you have to keep proving that you're sexy at 60 should be allowed to be sexy at 60 and not you have to look 20?
Right.
And yet we always feel that. And I see many women on the red carpet who are my age, and they are dressed in skin tight mini skirts cut down to here. And you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't
And
have
that's
to.
the thing I think that I wanted, who I hope to be. I'm trying to figure out who I authentically am.
We always are.
But that idea of if you love that and you feel great in it and you want to wear it, by all means wear it. But if you're wearing it for someone else, for another reason, then that makes me sad.
Yes.
And that's where this whole thing of just being you, and it's a hard line, the entertainment industry, all of it is just weird. And there are parts of it that I just love so much. And I do think it's interesting as I got older and I was approaching 50, the getting the PhD and being Dr. Diddy was so important to me because I think underlyingly I knew the looks that I had gotten literally in the entertainment industry. You're booked off a picture.
Yes.
They have to see your image first before they'll even press play on your video.
Yes.
So that thing that I had, I was afraid it was going to change. And I wanted to be credible. And it's funny, like, I didn't need another degree. I'm pretty damn credible because I lived a life. But thank you, society. And I love learning. So I actually love getting
You do
the
love
degree.
learning.
But yeah, a part of it was out of, I think there was a little underlying fear of, oh gosh, what am I going to do to sustain myself? But I also am just a geek and I love this stuff. So it's a weird mix. And I think I would like to get a little more back to the sexy, sassy side. I think some things happened that were pretty traumatic.
Yes.
Over the last, gosh, has it been? It's like 10 years.
Yeah.
But it changed my being. I have no better words. Being sexy was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was dangerous. And so now how do you go back to being fun and being what could come off as sexy without that being dangerous?
Without being afraid of it.
Yeah.
Being afraid it's going to put you in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or have you called, put the scarlet letter on you or a Jezebel because that's the other thing is, again, coming back to it's always the woman's fault. The woman did it.
Always the woman's fault.
Like, again,
why is the only person in prison a woman?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, going back to
so crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think, we look at vampires and I should have watched those shows more. And I think that is what is saving this generation. I think they've watched vampire shows and they get like the whole vampires are predators. Like it's
Have you watched What We Do in the Shadows?
My daughter loves it and she keeps telling me I need to watch it. But the idea of, they ask you if they can cross the threshold. And, we have all now we're like, oh, no, you cannot.
No, you don't even put a welcome mat out.
Yeah.
A welcome mat is inviting vampires to come in.
That happened to me. When it came back to some people close around me said, well, you let that person in. You shouldn't have let that person in. And I'm like, well, they didn't have
there was no
sign on them that said, predator, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
Like at least vampires kind of have teeth that you see a little bit. Well, not really. Anyway, I've learned my lesson, I think, but too well. And that's where I'm going with this is now I've come so far. And I think with what's going on in society, I don't know where the balance is.
I don't know where the balance is. I'm really glad I'm not dating right now. The dating world has gotten worse since I have been out of it. And it was not good when I was in it. I went through a period of time where I went on a lot of first dates, very few second dates. And even getting to that first date is so hard because men have gotten weird. I mean, not all of them, but okay. So the other day, it was Valentine's Day. We don't go out on Valentine's Day. It's ridiculously expensive and everyone does a prefix menu and it's just crazy. And just trying to drive around to pick up our to-go order was insane.
One of my friends went to the Grove and she posted and she said the Grove was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So in Los Angeles, it's this like shopping area. So yes.
Every restaurant was, and we were just in Burbank. So, because we had to pick up Wood Ranch because we needed us some beef ribs. for
Ooh,
Valentine's
yum.
Day because
My
we're all.
my mom sent me some Omaha steaks and it had some beef tips in it, and I put them in some broth in the crock pot, and I had me some beef tips by
Nice.
myself, and it was
Yum.
fabulous. Okay, back to your
Yay.
story now that we've
So
no.
we were at the gym and there's a guy on the phone. He's walking out ahead of us. He's like, wait up a second. So he's like, I saw that guy. He was in the dressing room. He was on the phone with his buddy. And he's like, yeah, so Valentine's Day, I got us heart-shaped pizza at Little Caesars. So like the cheapest pizza you can find. And he's like, and I got it with all my favorite toppings and none that she likes. So I get it all.
I know we're not supposed to pause that long on podcasts, but I have no word.
But it's,
And he's saying it for real? Like this isn't a
yeah,
joke?
that like,
And
this is an adult male who thinks that this is what dating is and he has a girlfriend. And I'm like, that poor woman.
And what's also kind of going back to like this whole thing of must be thin, must not, oh, she wouldn't eat pizza anyway, so I got all
Well,
my stuff.
and I mean, it's got nothing to do with money. I mean, if all you can afford is a Little Caesars pizza, awesome. If
Yeah.
all you can afford for Valentine's Day is a heart-shaped Little Caesars pizza, that's romance. You have that, you have a bottle of wine or soda, whatever you like, but you get it with ingredients that you both like so that you share it together. It's not a gotcha moment.
I mean, you could even split it down the middle and get all the things that she absolutely loves on one half and all the things that you absolutely love on the other half. And that could be called a compromise.
But no, and he felt good about that. He was like sticking it to her.
This is so weird. The whole thing.
It's so weird.
Everything
It's
is weird.
When did men become like that?
And what's interesting is when did people in general become like that?
Yes,
because
I'm not saying that women can do just as bad things.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, like this individualism. And there's a book, One of the Millions.
Yes.
But about that individualism isn't real. Like the people who succeed, they didn't get there on their own. There was no bootstrapping. They had family money or they had community or something happened. And I think that is, if I took anything while I was so sick and,
you were so sick.
You got some, I looked at the one text, I'm like, oh, I was dramatic. Because I was like, I'm just so sick and I don't know what to do. And I was just sick. But
when I have a fever, I just like chase everyone out of the house because I don't want anyone to see me like that. And I just cry.
Yeah.
I have a fever and nobody loves me. Well, that's because you chased them all out of the house. I don't care.
Yeah, it was. And what's hilarious, oh my gosh, Monique, we haven't even talked about this off the podcast, so I will just tell us all together. So the last 2 days that I was sick, the antibiotics had kicked in, and I was using one of the thermometers. You just kind of shoot it at your head.
Yeah.
And I was running a low grade fever, and I usually run pretty cool. I'm kind of lizard like.
Yeah.
And so I did get to where I got another thermometer, one of the under the tongue ones, digital, because I thought, well, let's just make sure. Yeah. Well, sure enough, yes, my little gun thermometer does run 1 to 2, probably 2 degrees high. So the last 2 days, I probably was not running a fever at all. But those were the days then that I started checking all of the symptoms on, the interwebs about low grade fever. And I had all kinds of things that I was like, oh no, it could be this, it could be this. Or it could be that my thermometer was reading 2 degrees high and I did not have a temperature. Well, I had a temperature, just not a fever. So anyway, we'll all laugh about that. Your hypochondriac friend over here, but I really was sick the rest of the time.
And that's what you do when you're sick. I mean, we didn't do that when we were kids because we didn't have the Google machine. But now we have the Google machine, so we can consult it anytime. And I mean, I am. This is the kind of old person I'm going to be. Anytime I see something, I got my phone out and I'm looking it up. Oh, there's a restaurant. What's their menu? Oh, what's that? Oh, I don't know what that building is.
And then I screenshot it. And then I look back and I have 250,000 pictures.
And I'm like, I don't know what this means. But I can't throw it away. I might need it.
Exactly. I mean, look, it took me half the podcast to find the one thing I was trying to find at the beginning of the
You
podcast, but it
found
was
it though.
there.
You
And
found it.
so I also have a phone. My daughter and I are trading, and so it is now in my possession, and I'm eventually going to take it over, but it's still hooked into her iCloud. So when I take pictures or video with that phone, it just goes directly to her. So I was trying to read a label on something, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I can't see it.
I can't see
I
it.
take a picture of it and then I blow it up so I can
Uh-huh.
see what it
Yeah.
says." But that,
Like a normal person
right.
over
But
40.
how funny is that? Forgetting that someone else can see all the things you take pictures of. That's because I will, zoom in. Do I have a hangnail? Here, let me take a picture. Let
Oh
me,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm forever. It's like I can't. I was like this growth on my eyeball. I'm like trying to look at it and look at it. I can't see it. And I'm like, take a picture, blow it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks creepy.
How is your eye?
Fine.
How are
It's
things after the bubble incident? We never really talked about the
Oh
bubble.
yeah, the bubble incident. So the bubble incident for all y'all. I went to the zoo with my husband on a Friday. It was lovely. It was wonderful. We had a great time. And then we come around the corner and we're going through this kind of tight area. And there's this adorable little girl. She's like 3 years old. She's all in pink and frilly. And she's got a bubble machine and it's like blowing bubbles. And as it's a Friday, so all the kids from different schools are there. And so a big group of kids comes by and she gets very excited and she starts squeezing it really hard. And it's a cloud of bubbles. And we ducked through and I did that because I'm smart and I know bubbles. And I thought we were clear. And a bubble hit me directly on the eyeball. And I was just like, and my eye was messed up for like 2 days from a bubble, from a soap
It's
bubble.
like, what are the chances? Although
Yeah.
I will say, I will yes and your bubble story, because I was in a play I was in Camelot and I was Guinevere. And
Of
so you've
course.
got the king and Lancelot. There's a scene where they're looking at each other. So one's on either side of me and I'm facing out from the stage. And the king enunciates very clearly and spittle flies from his mouth. And it was like this slow motion thing. I see it flying through the air, and I look over at Lancelot, and just as it gets to Lancelot's eye, he blinks. And so it does not go into his eye. And he opens his eye back up, and they continue their scene. And I can't, we discussed it afterwards, and Lancelot saw it coming at him, and it was just a reflex that it happened. But
Yeah.
those things, and that was probably milliseconds, but that in my head, I'm like, ooh, yuck, ooh,
It's like, ooh, because it's slow motion then.
yeah, very much. And I will say, because then we can bring it back to Bridgerton, doing Camelot and wearing that clothes and like doing there's the song It's May, and it was so fun. Like that was fun. And I'm wondering if part of the solution to all the crap that's happening is like singing and dancing. And I know there's the singing resistance that's happening, but also just cranking whatever your favorite music is and just letting loose a little bit. And I think in Bridgerton, when they do the dances and they do it is written in a way to help us maybe remember. I feel like there's always messages in it. Like it just feels like, I think that there are always little messages. And I
Yeah.
think part of it is like that finding the joy. But
Finding the
also
joy.
women's empowerment in this one. I thought there was a lot of underlying women's.
Oh, yes. I think
empowerment.
there is a lot in there that truly didn't exist at that time, which is why it's science fiction.
Right.
But I don't like to think of myself as like getting all excited to watch a sci-fi show.
Oh, I think it's all right though. I
Yeah,
think
it's okay.
it's a sci-fi show with good
If it's
music
good
and great
sci-fi.
dresses.
I like good sci-fi. Actually, we were just talking about Logan's Run. We're going to sit down and watch Logan's Run again.
Okay, why do I know this, but I can't remember the name? What is it?
Because it came out in 1976.
Okay.
And you were a little young.
I was 6.
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
easy because I'm on the 70s, so like I
But
can.
Logan's
But
Run. Logan's Run. and we're going to watch it, so don't quote me. I haven't seen it since 1976. People in this new society have a crystal in their hand, and the crystal changes colors every number of ages. And people are only allowed to live until, I think, 30. And then they go back in the system and are reborn or born again or something. But again, like I saw it when I was 11
Yeah.
or 12. But yeah, it's I think that's a very interesting subject. I'm gonna
Ooh, I
like
might have to watch it too.
people
It made me think of at that.
expire, you have to absorb them again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking about, I loved Return to Witch Mountain at that time. Oh my
Yes, yes. Yep.
those,
I loved the Witch Mountain books
yes.
and the
It's like,
movies.
yes. I did not get to read the books. I was in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if we knew they had books. I mean, we knew they had books, just not those books.
Oh,
We're not in my
you know
rural
when you
public.
get we had like book fairs at
Yes.
school where you get like a piece of paper and you could check off and it's like, and
Oh, yeah.
I always
Oh,
went
the
crazy.
weekly reader
Or
and
yeah,
oh no,
or you could buy a certain number of books
Mhm.
and I'd always check them all off and then they'd always like, do your parents know that you're reading books like this? I was like, bitch, my mom taught me to read at 18 months. I was reading novels when I was in first grade
That's amazing. I did not
because,
read well, I had the Little House on the Prairie books pretty early. And I had the like Around the World in 80 Days. They bought me that
uh-huh,
classics. And then I moved
yep,
on to Stephen King by like fourth grade.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, we're again,
yeah,
this
we're
is why
reading The Stand in fourth grade.
oh yeah, still one of the best.
Yes,
Just what again, it brings me back to Stephen King is kind of a prolific writer in many ways.
yes,
I think it is very interesting, the arts. I remember recently, I had a weird work thing and I watched 1984 just to kind of remind myself. I didn't want to read the book because that takes too long, but I watched the movie just to remind myself of, oh yeah, if you hear the same thing over and over again, and if you're in a place of desperation where you think you have to follow the rules to stay alive, you might take on information that you kind of know isn't true, but then what do you do with that? It just,
yeah,
I think that I can't tie that back to Bridgerton at all. That's going to just
that's
have to
okay.
hang there.
Not
There's
everything
no,
has a tie back.
yeah, there's no segue
We
for
don't
that.
have writers writing this, so we don't have ways to tie it up neatly into a little package.
We
We,
could, but it's more fun for you, I
but we're
hope.
more just we're just off the cuff and authentic.
And I think just hanging out is a good thing for all of us these days.
Yeah,
Unless, of course, you hate our
just
podcast, then we're
just
sorry.
to hang out and talk to a friend
Yeah.
is, I mean, half the time we start these podcasts just talking and it's like, oh wait, we should probably record this because this might be pertinent.
I know. I feel like, and I think there's always a good jumping off point, like whether it's about a show or what did you see in the news or how are you feeling about this? And it doesn't mean that we have to agree. I think that's the other thing that I'm kind of wrapping my head around with when people say things that I go, I'm trying to find a space to stay human and see them as a human and be brave enough to say, tell me more about that. I like even saying, gosh, that kind of, I felt uncomfortable. I'm trying to figure out why. Tell me more about why you said that. But also then finding the spot where I go, gosh, I don't know. Again, there are how many millions of people in the
Yeah,
world. I can wish you well, but I don't have to hang out with you.
yeah.
Like I don't know. At 55, I'm just now figuring out what I probably should have figured out in like fifth grade because people
You
just
don't
told
have to
me
be
one night.
friends with everyone.
Yeah, who knew?
You can be polite, but you don't have to be friends. And
Yeah.
There's a friend who has a girlfriend who I don't care for. I don't think she treats him well. I don't think she's inclined to treat anybody well. Stories I've heard about her family, definitely not. Um, And it's hard because he's like, well, hey, we're going to come over. It's like, if you just want to come over, great, but I don't really want to see her. Like, sorry.
And isn't it hard the like you want the friends who tell you the truth, but also sometimes we have to let our friends figure things out gently, like
Yes.
letting them, because that's oh my gosh, because the next episode, when we talk about shrinking, one of the lines I wrote down from that was when Harrison Ford's character said, we want to give people autonomy. We can't be psychological vigilantes. And I was like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
genius. And
Yeah.
that's that thing, like, we can't assume that we know better than our friends. Like, that's not a good friend either.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
that whole thing of, like, okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm seeing a little red flag here. Like, how do you gently do that? It's a dance.
My battery's at 20%.
Oh, well, it's actually getting time for us to close out the podcast anyway.
We
So I
should.
think that
Yeah.
it's a sign. So I will say, the Bridgerton episodes were a nice distraction. I will say there was a little ping when they were having the sex talk, like the mother, because I felt like that was again empowering the way they did it.
Yeah.
And with all that's going on in the world, that's kind of what I was hoping for, like you and I to talk about, which we did, is where is that balance of when it is an appropriate relationship, when you are properly resourced, when you are in the relationship by choice and you are not being harmed. Cool.
Yes. All of that. I think that's all very cool. And I'm proud to see that young women today are less susceptible to the predators than we were. And I am proud of young women for looking out for each other, which I think we have always done. I mean, I remember in the 80s going to the bars and, you know, any woman that you're hanging with, it's like, oh no, I don't swing that way. We're a couple. And any women just like you snuggle right up and like, hey, sweetie. I mean, and women always have each other's backs like that.
Yes, I
You
hope,
know,
because there's also
there's
a
all,
little bit of a
yes,
culture of competition, which is set up for a reason, so that we don't protect each other. So I think that might be a lovely way to kind of wrap up our Girl
yeah.
No.
In fact,
Whether
I think
you
that's
are,
something we'll talk about later
yeah,
about the
yeah,
women who aren't girls.
yeah. And I can see, because I've actually been in workplaces where one of the managers purposely would pit us against each other and triangulate, and I didn't catch on till later that that was a thing. And I think that reminding ourselves that if you are put in that place of competition, you won't protect each other, which means all of us could be hurt
Yes.
by the system or by the person who's orchestrating that. So I think that's a good way to think about it. Man, woman, non-binary, just please take care of each other.
We should
Please.
all take care of each other. The animals, we should take care of the animals. I mean, we rescue flies that get in our house because every day we have to let our cat out for a little while. And we live in the Hollywood Hills. So I've seen bobcats, I've seen foxes, I've seen so many. The hawks aren't big enough, thank God, because he's a good sized kitty. But he goes outside fully supervised for about an hour every day. And I just follow him everywhere. He's trying like, Mom, get away from me. So we get flies in the house and we rescue them. We get the glass over them and slide the paper, and just every living creature deserves to be cared for and
Oh,
and not hurt,
yep. And we
except
all,
for
I hope,
gophers.
you and your gophers, that whole, it is a thing. I will say that I think, when we look at the whole girl no thing, when we talk about, it is always lovely to have a friend that if they see a red flag, They can say girl.
They will say girl.
No.
No.
And I'm so glad that you're one of those people for me. And I am ever so grateful that you sent me a little care package while I was sick. It made me cry. I was also sick, but
Yes.
it was it was like the thing you want, like a mom to do, or what. That's why I said, I'm like, you're Monique parenting, sending me a care package while I'm sick.
And
Yeah.
isn't it funny that when somebody does something like that, that shows they care, how hard that is? Like,
Yes.
it's hard to, like, you cared. You
Yeah,
cared. Thank
that's
you.
what
And it's like mind blowing. We should not be that way. We should feel like, of course people cared about me, but we don't. And
that's a whole episode, I think.
that's a whole episode. So,
all right. Well, Monique,
on that note, take care of yourself. The world is hard right now. If you want to lose yourself in fiction or music or dance or hiking, or if you want to just put your hands over your ears and go la 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 la, it's all okay. It's all okay. Take care of your heart, because that's taking care of your sanity. And we live in a crazy world.
we do. And we're
We
just
do.
hanging out, doing the podcast. Please continue to follow us. And again,
Follow us, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Leave us comments. What would you like us to talk about? So I love you bunches. I'll talk to you later.
See you next time. Girl No is an independently produced podcast brought to you by She Did It Productions in cooperation with Shawn Brogan-Diddy and Monique Parent. Please like and follow us. If you'd like to subscribe on YouTube, please do. And you can also share anywhere where you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening. See you on the next episode.